Okay. This next bit of tea is actually pretty juicy. I find it kind of juicy. So Erika Jayne has filed a new motion that actually helps the Girardi Keese victims from the Hulu documentary. You'll remember Joe Ruigomez, the Ruigomez family. He's the burn victim that we saw in the Hulu documentary, The Housewife and the Hustler. So in a new filing from last week, Evan C. Borges, Erika Girardi's attorney, Erika Girardi. I call her Erika Jayne. I don't think she wants to be called, or I don't think she wants to be associated with Girardi anymore at this point. But anyway, her attorney informed the judge of their plans to file a motion to disqualify and immediately terminate Abir, Cohen, Trezon, and Salo, S-L-S-A-L-O, Salo, LLP. They are currently serving as special counsel to the trustee of the Tom Girardi estate for sanctions and for other relief. But they are this law firm is referred to as AXE. So Abir, A, Cohen, C, Trezon, T, and then Salo, S, AXE. So that's what they're referred to as. Like Girardi Keese would be GK, their AXE. So anyway, what does this mean? So according to court documents, in April of 2021, the Tom Girardi trustee filed an application to employ AXE as special counsel. Why is this bad? So they claim that Section 327E requires that special counsel to a trustee not represent or hold any interest adverse to the debtor or the estate, which basically means there's a conflict of interest and they knew of it and they were not owning it, as Lisa Rinna would say. So conflict of interest that they knew about, that they failed to disclose, and they don't want to own it, baby. Own it. So what is the conflict of interest exactly? Well, that would be that one of the partners at AXE is a former partner of Girardi Keese, and that would be Mr. Robert Finnerty. So how do you go from being part of Girardi Keese, who was embezzling client funds, and then go off and represent Tom Girardi's personal bankruptcy, where you're helping to collect on unpaid debts, and also, as a representing party, profiting off of your work in this case? Doesn't sound too good to me. Fishy, fishy. So the court docs further claim 3 attorneys from Girardi's mass tort team had moved to AXE prior to execution of the AXE and Girardi Keese agreement in November 2020, shortly before the involuntary petitions were filed on December 18th, 2020. And another 3 attorneys and approximately 6 staff also moved from Girardi to AXE thereafter. Oop! Sounds like some shady men are still doing some shady things. Allegedly. See, I know when to use that word. Allegedly. So basically, a bunch of people that were at Girardi Keese have now moved over to AXE, and AXE is now currently representing Tom Girardi's personal bankruptcy. And so they're the ones that are trying to collect on all the unpaid debts. And they either are going to be getting a commission off of those debts, they could likely be getting attorney's fees. However, AXE is in some way profiting off of this bankruptcy, yet multiple people that work for AXE formerly worked for Girardi Keese, which sounds a little fishy. So what does this have to do with the victims now, and how is Erika helping the victims? So according to the court documents, in approximately September 2022, AXE was publicly terminated by its clients, the Ruigomez creditors. We know them as the victims. He was the burn victim. Legally, they're the creditors, not the victims, legally. What followed through various filings by the Ruigomez creditors' new attorney was a series of shocking revelations regarding breaches of fiduciary duty, intentional torts, and outright theft and misappropriation of millions of dollars in settlement funds due to the Ruigomez creditors, which occurred when Mr. Finnerty was the partner in charge at Girardi Keese of the Ruigomez representation, and after acts upon Mr. Finnerty's recommendation, took over the representation of the Ruigomez creditors, only for AXE then to misappropriate, according to the Ruigomez's, $1.25 million of client settlement funds that AXE had done nothing to earn. So the Ruigomez family is now suing Axe for those missing funds. So Erika's latest intent to file a motion is a huge leap of support in their lawsuit against Axe. So in their case against Axe and all of these people that they're now claiming stole an additional $1.25 million outside of the Girardi Keese money that they're owed, they're claiming Axe also owes them money. And they're like, hold up, this is shady that Axe is now representing Tom Girardi's personal bankruptcy with Jason Rund. So this shows Erika's willingness to help resolve any of the legal matters that are affecting creditors of Girardi Keese. We often refer to some of those creditors as the victims. Again, legally, they are referred to as the creditors. So this also shows that Jason Rund, who's overseen Tom's bankruptcy case, might not be so kosher himself. Because if they knew all of this, which is the accusation made in these documents, is that they were aware of this conflict of interest and failed to disclose that to the courts, that doesn't sound very kosher to me. So Joe Ruigomez, as you guys know, he was the burn victim that we saw in the Hulu documentary, The Housewife and the Hustler, that Girardi Keese was failing to pay over their new lawsuit that was settled, I believe, it was settled, I think, like in 2019, 2020, because they were supposed to get their payments in 2020, and that's when they weren't getting their payments, and that's when they started to sue Tom Girardi, and then that's when the House of Cards really began to fall, because that's when the Lion Air case really came under fire, and Jay Edelson was like, wait a minute, you're not paying your clients, you're not paying our clients, like what the hell is going on? And that's where everything really just started to go up in flames. So I think that this shows a step in the right direction for Erika. You know, I know on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, people keep referencing her being like, I don't give an F about anybody else but me and the alleged victims and all of that stuff. As you see in the court documents, they're not referred to as the victims, they're referred to as the creditors. So, you know, little distinctions, in some cases semantics, but I think this is at least it sounds like an act of good faith from the way I see it. It sounds like, I mean, it seems like the accusations here are that Axe and Finnerty were misappropriating funds away from the creditors, aka how we see them as the victims, and then putting the tab onto Erika, saying that she's the one responsible for paying back all of these people that they were the ones that were allegedly stealing from. So now it appears that both the Ruigomez family, through their new lawsuit, and Erika through this new filing, both seem to be focused on taking down the bad guys that were actually taking the money. So I'm not saying that they're working in cahoots, but I am saying they both seem to be working towards taking out the same adversary. But I feel like most people would just rather badger Erika rather than see the real people be held accountable and the real victims get whatever money they're entitled to. So it does sound a little fishy that Finnerty is attached to the trustee and he's helping to collect money from Tom's debtors, which he himself was working directly with Tom, and Axe is currently being sued by the victims. So that sounds like a major conflict of interest to me. So curious what your thoughts are. Do you think that this really is a step of good faith for Erika? I mean, obviously, Axe and Rund are two of the people that are trying to sue her, or not two of the people, but they're both actively working together to get money from Erika to pay off Tom's debts. Erika's claimed that she doesn't have those funds, that the funds were spent, and that Tom was the one overseeing all of their finances. So again, it doesn't appear that the Ruigomez family and Erika are having like private conversations and being like, hey, how are we going to take down these people? But it does seem that they're, again, working towards taking down the same adversary. And that adversary looks like, from the way I see this, appears to have been linked directly to all of the stuff that Girardi Keese was doing and all of their embezzlement and misappropriation of funds over the years, you know, at Girardi Keese. So Robert Finnerty, you're in the hot seat. Axe, you're in the hot seat. I love when people that are actually accountable are held accountable and taken down, and that's where our attention should be. Okay? That said, now run and tell that, homeboy.